Guys, it's Miss Harwell here. I'm excited to start reading to you guys Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing. And if you were on our last Google Meet, then you got to hear the first chapter of the book already. If you were on Google Meet, I want you to still listen to the video because I'm going to be adding some different things as I read. And I just want you to be refreshed on the first chapter. So when you start doing a couple of your assignments with the book, then you will be able to remember what that first chapter was about and remember the characters. So before we start, I want to go over a few vocabulary words that you may hear in the text. These are going to be the vocabulary words: separate, measly, advantages, vanish, resist, account. Those are our words. So we'll start with the first one. Resist. That means to oppose something or to fight something off. And an example of that would be that you're given a medicine that helps you to resist the flu. So it helps your body resist the flu. It helps it fight it off. Our next word, advantages. That is things or events that are useful to someone. So something that may be useful, an advantage of a football team might be that they get to play on their home field. So that is an advantage for that football team. Something that is set apart is separate. If you set your in your closet, if you put your dress clothes on one side and your play clothes on one side, then you are separating those. You're setting them apart. You're setting your dress clothes apart from your other clothes. Measly, that means of little or no importance. So you may spend the whole day cutting the grass, working in the yard, and your parents only give you $1, okay? That is probably a measly payment for all the work that you did. A business arrangement to do or work for someone else is an account. You may have an account with a business that you're doing work for. You may hear your parents talk about that some with their work. And our last word is vanish, and that means to disappear. So a lot of times magicians will make something vanish or disappear in their act. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 1 right now, and then you will listen to chapter 2 in another video. So before we get started, I want to talk to you about some of these thinking stems that I call them while we're reading. So there's lots of strategies that we can use when we're reading. And while we're reading, first off, I think that it's always best to try and find somewhere quiet to read, especially if you're someone that struggles to focus on what you're reading. Maybe get in a cozy spot in your room or outside, somewhere that you're comfortable. You may even want to get your favorite drink or your favorite snack and have while you're reading, and try to get away from distractions as much as you can. I know that everybody's kind of home right now, and it might be hard to do that, but if you can, try to do that, and you will be able to focus more on your book and focus on what you're reading. So, some strategies to use when you are reading: making connections with the book. So, what is the reading remind you of? Have you had an experience like that? How am I different than a character in the book? So try to make connections with the book and the characters in the books and what they're going through. That will help you understand the reading better, and that will help you enjoy the reading more. Okay? Another strategy while you're reading is to ask questions. Okay? I wonder if, think about what the character might do next. Why is this happening? What if it happened this way instead? So that's kind of like asking questions about what's going on in the text while you're reading. Okay? Another strategy is to visualize. This is my favorite one. because it makes your reading come alive, and you can really take those details that the author is using in the text and visualize what the characters are experiencing. So think about the all of the details and try to come up with a picture in your head of what you think that looks like that you're reading. So in my mind, I picture blank when I read this part of the text. I can see, you might be able to see the character in your head, and you kind of make a mental picture of what they look like. And then when you read, every time they mention that character, you can kind of think about in your head what you think they look like, and that makes the reading more fun. Predict what you think will happen next. And a lot of times based on the character traits, once you kind of get into the book, you know the character, you can kind of predict what you think they're going to do. Okay, so that is what I want you to be paying attention to. Also, it's important to pay attention to the setting, pay attention to the characters, their actions, their thoughts, their feelings, and what the author wants us to know. What do they want us to learn from the characters? Okay? Alright, so we are going to get started with chapter 1, and I'm so glad that y'all are still with me here. I miss teaching you guys, and so I'm glad that I get to at least teach you a little bit over this video. Okay, so Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing. Alright, our first chapter is called The Big Winner. I won dribble at Jimmy Fargo's birthday party. All the other guys got to take home goldfish in little plastic bags. I won him because I guessed that there were 348 jelly beans in Miss Fargo's jar. Really, there were 423, she told us later. Still, my guess was closest. Peter Warren Hatcher is the big winner, Miss Fargo announced. So now we're introduced to three characters. Peter Warren Hatcher, okay, he's the one that just won. He won dribble, okay, and he is at Jimmy Fargo's birthday party, so that's two characters. And Miss Fargo is the one, probably Jimmy's mom, that announced that he won, okay? So, we got three characters in our head so far. At first, I felt bad I didn't get a goldfish too. Then, Jimmy handed me a glass bowl. Inside, there was some water and 3 rocks. A tiny green turtle was sleeping on the biggest rock. All the other guys looked at their goldfish. I knew what they were thinking. They wished they could have tiny green turtles too. I named my turtle Dribble while I was walking home from Jimmy's party. I live at 25 West 68th Street. It's an old apartment building, but it's got one of the best elevators in New York City. There are mirrors all around. You can see yourself from every angle. There's a soft cushioned bench to sit on if you're too tired to stand. The elevator operator's name is Henry Belvenheimer. He lets us call him Henry because Belvenheimer is hard to say. Our apartment's on the 12th floor, but I don't have to tell Henry. He already knows. He knows everybody in the building. He's that smart. He even knows I'm 9 and in 4th grade. I showed him Dribble right away. I won him at a birthday party, I said. Henry smiled. Your mother's going to be surprised. Henry was right. My mother was really surprised. Her mouth opened when I said, just look at what I won at Jimmy Fargo's birthday party. I held up my tiny green turtle. I've already named him Dribble. Isn't that a great name for a turtle? My mother made a face. I don't like the way he smells, she said. What do you mean? I asked. I put my nose right down close to him. I didn't smell anything but turtle. So Dribble smells like a turtle, I thought. But he's supposed to. That's what he is. And I'm not going to take care of him either, my mother added. Of course you're not, I told her. He's my turtle, and I'm the one who's going to take care of him. You're going to change his water and clean out his bowl and feed him and all of that? She asked. Yeah, I said, and even more, I'm going to see that he's happy. This time my mother made a funny noise, like a groan. I went into my bedroom. I put Dribble on top of my dresser. I tried to pet him and tell him he would be happy living with me, but it's not easy to pet a turtle. They aren't soft and furry, and they don't lick you or anything. Still, I had my very own pet at last. Later, when I sat down at the dinner table, my mother said, I smell turtle. Peter, go scrub your hands. Some people might think that my mother is my biggest problem. She doesn't like turtles, and she's always telling me to scrub my hands. That doesn't mean just run them underwater. Scrub means I'm supposed to use soap and rub my hands together. Then I've got to rinse and dry them. I ought to know by now. I've heard it enough. But my mother isn't my biggest problem. Neither is my father. He spends a lot of time watching commercials on TV. That's because he's in the advertising business. These days, his favorite commercial is about Juicio. He wrote it himself. And the president of the Juicio company liked it so much that he sent my father a whole crate of Juicio for our family to drink. It tastes like a combination of oranges, pineapples, grapefruits, pears, and bananas. And if you want to know the truth, I'm getting pretty sick of drinking it. But Juicio isn't my biggest problem either. My biggest problem is my brother, Farley Drexel Hatcher. He's 2.5 years old. Everybody calls him Fudge. I feel sorry for him if he's going to grow up with a name like Fudge. But I don't say a word. It's none of my business. Fudge is always in my way. He messes up everything he sees. And when he gets mad, he throws himself flat on the floor and he screams, and he kicks, and he bangs his fist. The only time I really like him is if he's sleeping. He sucks 4 fingers on his left hand and makes a slurping noise. When Fudge saw Dribble, he said, Ooh, see? And I said, That's my turtle. Get it? Mine. You don't touch him. Fudge said, No touch. Then he laughed like crazy. Alright, so I hope y'all enjoyed chapter 1 of the book. If you need to go back and re-listen to it, you can also do that. And I will be posting the video soon for chapter 2.